Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, happy Sita Navami to everyone, and thank you so much for joining in today in today's program. So this is a very festive week because spiritual life is full of festivals and bliss. Today is Sita Navami, and it is also the appearance day of Mother Janava, the beloved consort of our dear Lord Nityananda. And Sunday we're having a very exciting Nrsimha Chaturdasi with a really wonderful yajna. And the next day is a special appearance day for the darling of Vrindavan, Sri Radharaman Lal's appearance day. So we have so many appearance days coming in, so much mercy is flowing our ways. So we're very excited for that. So before I start today's class, I'd like to seek permission of my Srila Gurudev, of our Guru Parampara, of all the assembled devotees, and a very special and exalted devotee that is present among us today, Sri Hanumanji, to please kindly bless me so that I may speak a few words in honor of our Divine Mother Sita. So as Madan Gopal Prabhu was saying that on Sunday, everyone in this country, in the Western world, was celebrating Mother's Day. And in the Vedic tradition, we're taught to love and serve and honor our mother every single day of the year. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in his purport to Canto 1, Chapter 11, verse 28, that according to the scriptures, we all have 7 types of mothers. The birth mother, the wife of the Guru, the spiritual master, the wife of a Brahmin, the wife of the king, the cow, the nurse, and Mother Earth. So it's really wonderful that our society is in the appreciative mood of honoring the mother, because without mother, there would be no life. And I had so many, my realizations have changed so much after becoming a mother. And on Sunday, my daughter Subhadra gave me something, and I'd like to share my experience with you all. So she drew a little card in school, and she picked some flowers, and she came up to me and she said, "Mommy, this is for you." She's like, "I love you." And I was so happy, and my heart just expanded, and a big smile on my face. And that moment I realized that, mothers are very simple. Their hearts are very simple. We're not very complicated beings. We just need just a touch of love. And at that point, I also thought to myself, well, I'm just a human mother. And if I'm touched by this little gesture and act of kindness by my child, imagine how our Supreme Mother, our Divine Mother, would feel if we just remember her and honor her with love and sincerity. And of all days, on her appearance day, if we remember her, can you imagine the smile on her face? And if she is pleased, then there's a storehouse of infinite blessing and mercy that's going to be showered upon all of us. And I was just like, wow, this is so amazing. Just a simple experience in life. I can't really understand, but I try to understand how vast the heart of Mother Sita must be. So we all know that the Lord comes for various different reasons, that he makes his descent on earth. And of course in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 8, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, and he gives the various reasons, he says to deliver the pious, annihilate the miscreants, reestablish the principles of Dharma. But, there's also another reason that the Lord comes. And that reason is just to have loving exchanges with the devotees. And the Lord has care and compassion in his heart. So he comes just out of love. And, you know, as a parent, I think I go through so much trouble just to give my child a little something, to teach them something, to guide them. So imagine the universal mother and father, the conversations they must be having. They're probably like, okay, it's time to go down to earth. It's time to like just teach our children the right way, the right path. And that's the responsibility of a parent. When you see your children going astray, you have to guide them. And that's why Mother Sita and Lord Ram come for the betterment of our life, for our benefit, for the benefit of all of the future of humanity, so that we can succeed on the path of dharma. We can succeed on the path of bhakti. And it's because they care, that's why they come. So when they come, there's a lot of excitement in this world. Demigods are super happy. Demons are like, oh no, there's someone here to challenge us. So the nectarian pastimes of the Lord are infinite, and they're filled with so many details. And we can dive into those details, and we can just absorb ourselves, our hearts and our minds for days and months and years and even lifetimes. And, you know, we wouldn't be able to, you know, understand everything. But it's because Hari is Anand, his Katha is also Anand. And today, I just wanted to focus on a couple of observations, teachings from the life of Mother Sita. And I felt that these lessons can help all of us become better practitioners of bhakti. And these lessons are important because we can really apply them in our life, and hopefully they'll help to inspire us so that we can make further spiritual advancement. The very first lesson that comes to mind is we shouldn't become too attached to bodily comforts. We should be willing to adjust to changes that come in life. Be flexible. You know, if something happens and our physical situation becomes modified, we shouldn't become resistant to it. Now, Mother Sita is very gentle. She's very delicate. She was raised with lots of love and pampering as a royal princess in the palace of Maharaj Janak and Maharani Sunita. And all of the residents of Mithila also showered her with so much affection. So just imagine how gentle she is and what a loving atmosphere and environment she came from. And when Mother Sita came to know that Lord Ram has to take exile and that he has to give up the throne, immediately she renounced all of her royal comforts and she decided to accompany him to the forest. And Lord Ram was like, no, this is not necessary. This was only for me, not for you or anyone else. But, you know, he tried to convince her by saying, look, the forest is full of difficulties, there are austerities, wild animals, bugs, you're going to have to live off of fruits and roots, and there are demons roaming around. So he was thinking that maybe Mother Sita would, you know, change her decision. But she didn't. She was very determined, very fixed, and said, I want to please you, my dear Lord, and I want to serve you, and therefore I'm willing to come to the forest and undergo any sort of discomfort and trouble. And she did. She walked barefoot in that forest, full of thorns and stones, and, you know, imagine us if we had to go barefoot. Probably go a little bit and we'd probably come back and say, I want my sneakers, you know. Mother Sita didn't. She went all the way. And this is very, you know, it's really amazing to see the Lord do this for us and to teach us. Now, Mother Sita is not asking us to give up our homes and go to the forest and renounce everything. No, she's saying we accept a little austerity that may come our way. And we're fortunate to live in a country like America. Compared to the rest of the world, we probably are living a very luxurious lifestyle. So if a little austerity comes, let's be a little bit tolerant. Let's not become agitated and get upset. And this will help us elevate ourselves from the bodily platform so that we can start understanding spiritual reality and spiritual bliss, because we'll be focused more internally rather than being conscious of the outside. And when I thought of this lesson, the first thing that came to my mind was something that's occurring right now in our world. There's a part of our devotee community in the Ukraine who are suffering immensely right now. Their homes have been taken away. They're living in, conditions that we wouldn't even want to think of, like under basements and subways. All of their physical comforts and needs have been taken away. Maybe just a pair of clothes or so. And despite all of that, they're willing to adjust. They're willing to, keep on serving, and it's amazing. And I said to myself, my gosh, I'm here today celebrating Sita Navami festival and enjoying, having beautiful darshan of the Lord, and there are devotees out there who are just having darshan within their minds and hearts because they don't know what's going to happen. And I've seen videos of those devotees celebrate festivals, and my God, they're so ecstatic and so much enthusiasm. And I say to myself, these devotees are undergoing a big test, and we should pray in our hearts that Mother Sita blesses them with lots and lots of mercy so that they can overcome this tough time that they're facing. Another very important lesson is that we should not complain. Mother Sita does not express any sort of anger or display any rebellious behavior or attitude towards Lord Ram, his parents, or even the rest of the family when she comes to know of this decision that they have to go to the forest. She has so much faith and trust in her husband, and she knows that there's a very important reason why he's doing this. She is aware of the tradition in the Raghukul dynasty that a promise must never be broken, even if it means that we have to give up our life. And Mother Sita knew that, if she was resistant to this, and if she created, ruckus over this, then it would put Lord Ram in a dilemma, because now he would have to think between, pleasing and his wife or his father, and she didn't want to do this to him. She knew that, okay, he's doing this, he's doing the highest dharma, and I'm going to support him. And Mother Sita, even then, she had that same spirit, and you'd think that, after undergoing so much in exile and then being captured by Ravan and going through even more difficulties, that she would say, okay, this is enough. I've done my quota for this lifetime. But no. In fact, when, after Lord Ram became the king, he was coronated, and there came a very, very, very difficult time in their life where he had to make a very tough decision as a king. And that was to have Mother Sita be banished to the forest. Now, you think that Mother Sita would say, hey, look, this is not fair. Again, this is happening to me? But no, she is an embodiment and personification of tolerance, sahanshuta. So she did not complain. She obeyed the order of Lord Sri Ram, and she went on her way. And from Mother Sita's example, something that we should keep in mind is that we shouldn't complain or blame God whenever we find ourselves undergoing difficult situations in life. We should understand that the Lord is making the best possible arrangement for our spiritual advancement and purification. And if we see this, then we will realize that, it's not so bad after all. If someone constantly is complaining, then he or she is at very high risk of becoming ungrateful. And when you become ungrateful, and when you do not have gratitude in your life, then you can never be satisfied. You'll always feel miserable, and you'll become bitter. And that's not good, because bitterness doesn't attract the Lord. Sweetness does. So we should strive to have our nature be sweet. Shouldn't complain. I mean, we've been in this material life, in this material world for so many lifetimes, right? And it's not our fault. We've kind of gotten beaten up by this material energy, right? So we've kind of becoming like, very self-defending, and like kind of, we're just, anytime something happens, we just want to, the first thing is like, no, why is this happening? It's natural to complain, right? I mean, I do it all the time. My kids drive me nuts. So, but you have to take a step back and you have to say, you know what? When that moment comes and you just want to complain, you say, pause. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to think positively, and I'm going to count my blessings. And that's the third lesson that Mother Sita is teaching us, is that gratitude is the key to happiness. Whenever challenges do come, we should not become disheartened. We should not allow the obstacles to dampen our spirit or discourage us on the path of bhakti. Instead, we should reflect on all the good things, all the wonderful accomplishments that the Lord has brought into our lives. And with that sort of mindset, we should try to do our best to be patient and tolerant. And that'll help us overcome whatever situation that we're facing. When Mother Sita was residing at Valmiki Rishi's ashram, she was always grateful to all of the residents in the ashram for all of their love and support. Whether it was an elderly person or a young person, she was so cheerful, so happy, even for a little bit of help that they provided to her. And despite all of the uncomfortable circumstances that she faced during exile, she was always peaceful within. She did everything herself when she was living in Valmiki Rishi's ashram, collecting the firewood, getting the grains ready, getting the masalas, making them from scratch, raising her children, teaching them. She is super mom. She was multitasking, and she was, doing her best, but she never complained. She never said, why is this happening to me? Why doesn't the Lord have mercy on me? No, she just accepted the circumstances, and she just continued doing her duty. And, I keep reminding myself of this because as a mom, when I'm in the kitchen and my kids are running here and there, it is very difficult to cook, and they challenge me so much, and then I start complaining. And then at that point, I remember, I said, Sita Mata never complained. And I try to tell my mind, I try to discipline my mind, and I said, no complaining. Why not just listen to some kirtan and be positive and cook with positivity and with love, right? Rather than being complaining. So just something that I'm telling myself, because I tend to do this a lot. So Mother Sita was always blissful. When she was in the forest, she appreciated the forest life. She was very delightful, very cheerful. In fact, I think she kind of preferred that over the royal life, because in the forest it's very sattvic. Everything is peaceful. You see God present in everything. And she didn't sleep on a royal bed. She slept on the ground, on maybe a straw mat or something. But she never complained. And she didn't have like chapan bhog for like breakfast, dinner, and lunch. She had fruits. She has berries. Simple, whatever there was in nature. She drank water, the beautiful water. Those are the things that Mother Sita appreciated. And she didn't have any regrets. She was very content. And that also brings me back to the devotees in the Ukraine, how they were so grateful. I've seen so many videos after this war has broken out, and whenever they want to send a message to all of the devotees that are supporting them worldwide, they are saying, thank you so much for your help. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for creating this worldwide family, that we're able to get support in this tough time. So, even in difficulties, they're not complaining, they're being grateful. And I said, wow, this is what it means to be a devotee. This is what is important, and to count our blessings all the time. The fourth lesson that Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai. Shri Shri Shinath ki Jai. So the fourth lesson is that simplicity is beneficial for our spiritual advancement. We shouldn't become too attached to things. We should use whatever resources Krishna provides us, whatever changes life brings us, and use that in the service of the Lord. Simply utilize everything in the Lord's seva. We should see the Lord's hand and mercy in every situation. A simple lifestyle and a simple mindset helps clear the path for us. Mother Sita continued to serve Lord Ram as a faithful wife, as a companion, and a servant all the years in the forest, with whatever she could find, whatever was available. She cooked for the Lord, she picked flowers, fruits, berries, she fanned him. She did whatever she can find, and she served her husband. She wasn't saying, oh, well, I'm not in the palace anymore. He can sleep wherever he wants, or he could do. No, that wasn't her attitude. Her attitude was like, oh, he's sleeping? Okay, let me take this. We probably made a fan out of some sort of leaves or something, and she was fanning him. So anything the Lord gives us can be utilized in his service. So that's very important. And again, I'm reminded of the devotees in Ukraine, how, even in this situation, they're using whatever resources they have. I know many of them just started, anything that comes, wealth, food, everything comes, they're distributing it to others. They're serving Krishna Prasad, whatever books they have, they're sharing the message of Krishna consciousness to those who are suffering in distress. And I said, wow, this is amazing. Very, very simple. They don't have much, but whatever they have, they're utilizing in Krishna service. Even kirtan, even the breath of life, they're using that to serve. And I said, wow, always thinking of Krishna, even when they're on the battlefield. And I know that some of them have passed away, and I said, wow, that they're living the Bhagavad Gita. And it's so inspiring. And I just pray today that Sita Mata's mercy reaches them and things get better for them. Their temple is open again. Miraculously, Sita Mata gives all of our leaders of the world the proper intelligence to think for the welfare of society and protect people. So as I was thinking of what to speak for today's class, I said, let me meditate on the benevolent, thank you, nature of Mother Sita. And two things come to mind. One is Sita Mata's cooling mercy. So when Sita Mata heard that Ravan had ordered that Hanumanji's tail be burned, she immediately prayed to Agnidev to protect Hanumanji. Now Agnidev understood the Divine Mother's instruction, and he immediately transformed the hot, burning nature of fire into that of a cooling, soothing sensation. So Hanumanji, soon as the fire, his tail was lit, he was probably like, oh, this is not burning, this is cooling. And he just had a burst of enthusiasm, and then he said, okay, time to do seva now. So he jumped from building to building throughout Lanka, and he set the whole city ablaze to teach Ravan a lesson that, look, this is not good. You shouldn't be, doing this to Lord Ram. So if we similarly take shelter of Mother Sita, then all the raging, burning situation, problematic obstacles that are in our life will cool down. And we will be able to remain steadfast on the path of bhakti, and we'll be able to perform lots of wonderful services for the pleasure of the Lord. So Sita Mata's mercy is very much needed and very cooling, just like her nature, cool, peaceful. The other aspect is that Sita Mata is very compassionate and forgiving. So after Lord Ram's victory, Hanumanji was super happy and ecstatic, and he's like, yay, we did it, we all did it. And he went to the Ashok Vatika and he shared the good news to Mother Sita. And Hanumanji said, okay, Sita Mata, these 700 demonesses that are in this Ashok Vatika, they have harassed you, they've said a lot of mean things to you, they have tortured you. Can I teach them a lesson if you so permit? And at that time, very lovingly, Sita Mata said, no, the mistake of a helpless servant is considered to be the mistake of his instructive master. The demonesses had no choice but to torture me. They didn't trouble me out of choice, but they were compelled as per the order of Ravan. So Sita Mata is teaching us that suffering is due to one's previous karma or activity. We cannot blame others for our fate. She further explained to Hanumanji that the greatness of a person lies in his ability to forgive wrong action and not to retaliate with another wrong action. If anyone has ever heard us on the path of bhakti or anywhere else, we should try our best to not hold any grudges, but rather learn from the situation and free ourselves of any sort of resentment, and rather focus our mental energy into serving the Lord and pleasing the Lord. Because this is the only way we can remain positive. And positivity is so important in emotional life. This mind is always flickering, and I always tell myself, be positive, be positive. Negative thought comes in, just kick it out. Think of Krishna, put on a kirtan, take darshan of the Lord, immediately, just kick it out. And that's so important. So our great fortune here at ISKCON of New Jersey, we are super duper blessed to have this wonderful Ram Parivar in our temple. You see, not every ISKCON temple has Ram Parivar. The Lord's Nam, Rup, Gun, and Lila. Name, form, qualities, and pastimes are non-different from the Lord himself. In fact, the entire Ramayana and all the special qualities are embedded within our Ram Parivar. Every time we have darshan of our beloved lordships and we offer obeisances to them, we are directly getting blessings from Maryada Purushottam himself. And by worshipping Ram Parivar, our Parivar is protected. Our children are being instilled with good values. Our future generations will continue to grow with all kinds of special virtues. So Ramayana is all about working together in a beautiful cooperative spirit. And if we worship Lord Ram, Mother Sita, Lakshmanji, Hanumanji, then we will also become cooperative with one another, and we will be able to serve nicely. All of this is only possible. We're celebrating Sita Navami today. It is only possible because of one individual. And that individual is our beloved Srila Prabhupada. He gave us his temple. He gave us these wonderful deities, our Lordship. He gave us his festival. And he brought all of us together. Without Srila Prabhupada, we wouldn't be here today. So we are eternally grateful for his mercy and for his grace. We pray that we can always worship his Lordship with lots of love and lots of devotion. And in conclusion, we pray to Sita Mata that she blesses our new temple project with lots of mercy and lots of fortune, so that next year we can all hold a super grand celebration at our new temple for Sita Navami. devotees. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions? Anybody want to share anything? Sita, no? That is all of the senior devotees are seated here, and they can give us anior. They can give us more and more and more. More nectar, more katha.
No, we want to hear from you.
No. Prabhu, I'm very limited. My maternal brain as a mother, I'm telling you, sometimes I can't even remember what day of the week it is. So it's always Krishna's mercy. So thank you. Prabhu?
Yeah, I have a question, but I don't know whether it was discussed. I joined late for a moment. So this Dharani that story, is it in the Valmiki Ramayana? That let earth be parted and Sita Devi got inside the Dharani.
I've heard of that story, and that, to my understanding, is that's how Sita Mata returned back to the spiritual world when she was asked to testify, and Valmiki Rishi also came and said, "Yes, Lord Sri Ram, these are your sons." At that point, that was her time to exit the leelas on earth. So I believe it is true, but I'm not 100% sure. So I just want to ask Space Nimari Prabhu or Mother Gopal Prabhu or
I'm not sure, but I suspect it's in the
I'm sorry, I haven't actually read the entire Ramayana. Growing up, my favorite show was Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana. So I just kept watching it, and that's, I came to know of Ramayana that way. So, yeah.
It's there in the Valmiki.
It's there. Prabhu could just confirm that it's there.
I just checked. It's there in the Valmiki Ramayana.
So what is the material world explanation of Sita Devi's justification? I mean, what justification would be given to that act in the material, in the Varnashma perspective, Varnashma Dharma perspective? Like Mayada Purushottam, Lord came as Mayada Purushottam, that means he executed the Varnashama duties perfectly.
Yes.
And so did Sita Devi in her body as a wife of Lord Ram.
Right.
So in that perspective, what justification would be ascribed to that going away from Lord Ram to Dharatri? I just wanted to. I mean, I get these questions from many atheistic forums because I interface with them. So sometimes these questions boggle me. So I'm asking that actually.
Right. So we must always understand that, while Varnashram Dharma is there, the Sita Mata is above that because she's not just an ordinary woman. So the Lord enters and he exits, and there are different ways. I mean, no ordinary girl can take birth from the earth either. So, and no ordinary person can exit by going into the earth like that. I believe that when she was, at the point when she was banished into the forest, she was, I don't know if she was sort of renounced, but she did all of her duties, right? She did everything. Even when society kept questioning her again, she said it. Even bumped you, she said. And I think at that point, I don't know what more she could have done. I'm not sure if I'm understanding or if I'm answering the right.
I think you've answered the question.
Yeah.
The question is, probably asking what justification, how does her act fall in the framework of Varnashram? I think that's really the question. And so a couple of suggestions, or a couple of ideas is that, like what Mataji said, is that it's not everything the divine personalities do will fall within that framework. Her birth is so divine. She came from the earth and she went back to the earth. At the same time, she's also reminding all of us that we came from the earth and we will all go back to the earth also. So, and the third point is that there's no such thing as perfect timing to go back into it. You see, sometimes the mother who's just given birth to a young child is gone. Sometimes the mother lives to be 95 years old. Doesn't matter. The one who leaves early doesn't mean it's outside the frame of her ashram. But she left a little earlier. That's fine. She had raised her sons to be pretty good sized kids at that point. You know, so those are a couple of angles. And the fourth point is we should probably avoid interacting too much with atheists.
Yeah, it's not that I get influenced by them, but I try to influence them, but these questions,
Yeah.
I need to face, so I need to be prepared, so I'm trying to...
But sometimes what happens is that the question itself will have words in it that make certain assumptions. For example, you use the word, what is justification? When you say, what is the justification, it means she has to have a justification. You're assuming in the question itself that some justification has to be there. And then so those kind of, first you take apart the question and break down some of the misconceptions that are built into the question itself. Then you can answer the misconception. Otherwise, you get trapped into this whirlpool.
Actually, if I might add on to that, what I've heard from some of my superiors, Govind Prabhu and Garon Prabhu in Chapati, who are very expert Ramayana, students as well as teachers, is that, few different things, that the rules, even from country to country, the rules are so different, right? So what counts for proper behavior in America would be considered, shocking behavior in India. Or what counts for appropriate behavior in India might be shocking behavior in Germany, right? So that's number one. Even in the same age that we live in, what to speak of 200 years ago, what were the rules? 500 years ago, what were the rules, right? And what are the rules today? And this incident actually happened 1.7 million years ago, right? A few million years ago in Treta Yuga, where the lifespan of the individuals was 10,000 years plus, right? The morals and the codes were very, very different. And Lord Ram was demonstrating the perfect beauty of a king. He was not happy banishing Sita. Sita was not happy being banished, but because the word of the king, because he was a representative of the Supreme Lord, the word of the king counted for so much, he had to do certain actions to protect that. But he was in sorrow, and unlike other Kshatriya kings of that age, he did not take another wife. He was advised, you do all these yagyas, because that is the dharma of that age, Treta Yuga, that you do all these fire yagyas. You're without a wife, now you've banished her. How can you do yagyas? You need to have a wife, right? And he fashioned a gold murti of Sita who would accompany him in all the yagyas. So he stayed true to Sita, and Sita stayed true to him. So all these things, when we consider, we realize that we are judging from our limited perspective today what happened millions of years ago in another yuga, where the codes were different, the people were of a much higher frequency, spiritual frequency than we are. And therefore, trying to understand it is something like, a little child trying to understand how a nuclear submarine works and trying to explain it. Like, if I'm going to use a very material
Or even a grown-up.
Yeah, or a grown-up, for example, yeah. So hopefully that adds some color.
But Prabhu, I think all that incidents millions years ago, but they set up the example for other million years from the future. So they had set up the example. It's not only it's happened million years ago, it's different, and now it's different. They did, because it's future world, so they set up an example for us that Purushottam Ram is there, Sita Mata going inside the dharti because she maintained her dignity also. Like she set up all the example for us, right?
Mm-hmm. See, do you want to take that?
No, no.
Sorry, I'm not doing the translation.
No, you can.
So, the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures are like a vast pharmacy with millions of medicines, right? We don't go to a pharmacy and the pharmacist says, hey, here's 10,000 shells, help yourself to whatever medicine you want, right? Yeah. And therefore, the guru, and the guru comes in parampara, the guru teaches us what lessons are relevant in our life, in our time, right? Not every lesson is relevant in each and every instance, each and every age, right? Therefore, you'll see, even if you read Prabhupada's life and the questions and answers, sometimes for the same question, he would give 3 different answers at 3 different times, right? So because he was expertly judging that, oh, so-and-so is at this level, this is the medicine that that person needs, right? So therefore, when we hear Ramayana, we hear it from the lips of great souls, like her spiritual master, His Grace Radha Govinda Swami Maharaj, or, different spiritual masters that we have, right? They are expert, they are coming in parampara, and they can choose what is relevant and what we should pick out of the lessons of each divine personality.
Thank you everyone for this really amazing discussion. It's nice to think and to discuss the pastime of the Lord, and really just, we're absorbing ourselves right now, so it's very sweet. And
I did have a comment, so sorry, I answered that. So, I was taking notes about your class. It was actually so compact, it was so beautiful, and the lessons you distilled, because you can speak about Sita Devi for like 7 days non-stop, right? And it's difficult to distill all that into like one class, but you really did justice to it. And I could hear your divine guru speaking through you as you were speaking, so thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for your encouragement, and thank you ISKCON of New Jersey Management for this opportunity that you gave me to allow me to say a few words today. Thank you all. I'm so happy everyone is here today. I know Sita Mata is very happy too, so you all have pleased her by just coming here today, and she's very happy. And Lord Ram is happy that Sita Mata is happy today. And Hanumanji is ecstatically dancing, and Lakshmanji is also very happy, so everyone.